is that what are some of the like basic basics of the financial forecasting? Like, what are the things that people generally tend to not know, and as a uh, as a CMA.
In a very layman language, that I have a certain company ABC. So, what is needed? Raw materials are needed, basic utilities, that these kind of equipments are needed, these kind of wires are needed, these kind of technicalities are required for this, and then we start budgeting for it. I have been facilitating students since last 2 years in the similar field, and it's really interesting because it's subjective to which country you are going from, which home country, right?
Very
As an
true.
Indian, you have different mentality. As a European, you have a different mentality. As a Russian, you have a different mentality, and as a US citizen, you have a different mentality. So when we talk about a nuance vision, a nuanced perspective on what kind of skills you should have when you're going to abroad, and it's not just for Indians who are watching, is to have no expectation, because we have built such scenario in our head from watching all the Insta stories, because that is sometimes I feel like this is what the major attraction is nowadays, that everyone is going to Canada, US from India, so we should do it because everyone is going. But have you seen the economy over there? Have you seen the financial situation over there? It's really tough to find a job. His vision, mission, and the purpose of his business to its customer. And now, whenever we think about Tata, we know the purpose. What Tata and all the Tata and Sons subsidies and all the companies, they are in all the sectors, all sector possible.
Very true.
Very like there will be in rare scenario there will be one or two industry missed by Tata, right? So why do we relate with Tata? Because we know what is driving the organization.
Sia Joshi, a US CMA, a teacher, and an aspiring personality who has lots of experience with life, with extracurriculars, and with teaching everyone the right way to look at finance and to be the best version of yourself when you are pursuing any field that you have always wanted to. In today's episode, we'll be looking forward to a lot of different topics ranging from abroad studies to financial forecasting to Ratan Tata to the legacy of Tata and so many more things, along with some fun, some musty, and also a lot of learnings. Today, you will be having a different perspective towards the financial sector, towards finance, and it would not be the same for you. And you will be learning everything about being a CMA and about the life of a CMA. So, with that being said, without any further ado, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the podcast.
I don't know. Okay. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1, and sure. Okay. So welcome Siati. Welcome to Kya Halchal podcast. And yes, the very first question, what's your halchal?
Well, my halchal good. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me here, and it's really amazing to see you grow like this. And very, very congratulations for
Thank you so much.
to you.
Thank you so much. And yes, it's because of the awesome listeners that we are having who are giving us so much love and supporting us so much. So yes, thank you to you guys as well. And yes, so how have you been? How things have been? What have been like going on? You have like I've seen on LinkedIn that you're growing right now so much. You have also recently cleared your USCMA in the very
Yes.
first attempt that
Yes.
too. So very much intrigued by that fact, and also it's amazing seeing that in this space, in the finance space, you're growing so much, and not just in that, but apart from that also you have like done so many things. You have hosted events, you have prepared for your USCMA, you have cleared USCMA, and apart from that, you have been into so many extracurricular activities. So yes, I must say that juggling must be hard.
Oh, undoubtedly, it's insane. Sometimes I feel like, where do I get all the time? It's insane. And as you were saying, in the field of finance and growing rapidly on LinkedIn, it's actually quite fascinating to me as well, because I never intend to grow on any social media platform. I'm kind of very private person. I don't like to share much about what I'm up to, and keep things to myself. And yeah, accomplishing USCM in the very first attempt, juggling, as you were saying, I was doing 2 internships with my college education, then extracurricular activities, and I could it will take the entire podcast to just list down my extracurricular activities at this point. But yeah, it was insanely difficult. But when you have the drive, you a passion to do that and achieve something that you've been dreaming about, and the sense of accomplishment drives that motivation and hard work through the difficult time as well. So that's really been a fascinating opportunity and a blessing to me. And LinkedIn just happened to be great. I mean, the kind of DMs I get, the amount of response I get on my post, it's insane. And I feel like I'm not doing justice to all the followers and all the people who are looking after me, because it's really difficult to manage social media, right? Like, you have to constantly respond, you have to constantly be updated, and it just takes a lot of time.
No, yes, that's very tough to, it's very tough to handle so many people, and that too, the growth has been quite instantaneous, if I'm not wrong. And I have seen from the very first time we met at FOCMUN,
Yeah.
and from there to now, the progress has been insane. And in these few months after CMA, so I was very much shocked, and I was very happy, and I was very surprised to see okay, it's crazy. It's everyone is going crazy. And I guess finance is one of those things that has been around for a while. It with the advent of in fact, with the advent of digital payments, it has been going even up. And now with IPOs, stock markets, and everything being so much discussed upon on social media, I guess that's something that people want to know about, despite of the fact that sometimes it does get boring. I have that Indian financial system subject. No offense to anyone.
Yeah, you're talking to someone from the background. I'm offended.
It's there is economy is different, finance is different, and then there are so many layers to it. So it kind of gets very, it gets a very diverse topic. And today, that's why I wanted to do this conversation, because I wanted to discuss the basics of finance, the very basics of financial planning, the financial literacy, and everything that is important in today's day and age, not just for any business, but for every business, including podcast. So starting with that, keeping that in mind, the very first question that I'm having for you is that what is financial planning, financial literacy, and what is the ways in which people plan people what the experts do their financial planning? What are the basics? What are some of the layman terms that we should be knowing? And how is that used in the professional space?
Okay, amazing. Just few comments while you were introducing about finance and everything. Finance has been around since the beginning, right? Whether it was in terms of very basic barter system, right? And then eventually we started growing from being a caveman to agricultural field to having industrial, and now we are in the service sector, right? Because it's rapidly growing and it is in demand, as you were saying as well. So it's a lot of hard work that has been going behind to build this entire industry, and people have started realizing the importance of it. I mean, it has been around, but now it is at a term where finance, not just finance, strategic planning, even we live in Gujarat, but since so many policies have been implemented in the last few decades with the new government, there have been such encouragement for entrepreneurship, right? People are growing, people are willing to have some sort of independent business than just doing a 9 to 5 corporate job. And that's why it's become very popular that it's, and in fact, it's also important whether it's just a normal teenager or a person in early 20s being financially independent and having basic understanding of finance is really important, whether it's you managing your pocket money from you doing a job and financing accounts of your clients, and to making decisions, making frameworks and policies. It has become very integral in the entire world. And India being the largest market and such a rapidly growing economy, this field is taking off and there's such a demand, and as you were saying, people find it boring, but it's not quite boring. It's not all maths. It takes a lot of out of box thinking,
True,
creativity,
true.
right?
Very much true.
And to answer your question about financial planning and what are the basics of financial planning, I mean, even if you talk to a very young child and you give them some 100 rupee, they already have plans. Diwali is coming up, right? So all the teenagers like पैर छू के पैसे मिलेंगे, so they all have aspirations अभी से कि I'm gonna buy this, I want to get this. So this is financial planning in a way, because you want to use your money wisely,
Very true.
right? So the basics start. All the financial enthusiasts watching as well, we all have studied the basic, right? But the practicality in the profession, in the industry, is quite different. It's not what debit credit you do on the, on your exams and subjects, as you were saying, like, you have a subject and it's quite boring, but in reality it's quite intriguing that, you have to think behind where the sources are coming from, how you want to utilize it, and what is the maximum profit you want to get, right? What investment you are doing. And as you were saying as well, like, IPOs and stock market, they have become very popular. Reason being, the access is so easy now. You can download, Zerodha, Upstock, whatever app. You can go to YouTube and you search about stock market, and all the whatever education, whatever process you have to learn, it's all there for free. So why not use it? And I see a lot of my classmates, in fact me as well, it's quite fascinating. Like, you put your money on some stock, and if you bet right, and if you know that, the company is gonna do great, you get money. And why would I rather spend my money somewhere else where I know I can get something out of it, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting about finance. I guess finance is very much unpredictable, if I have to say. Like, it's one of those things where you never know, like, how it depends on how the market goes. And market is like fashion, I suppose. Like, every time it changes. It's like, the curve is like that. Like, every time there is a new trend, right now, recently only I read about neuromarketing. I'm like, okay, now we are having a marketing which is done based on our brain patterns. And I was like very much fascinated by that fact. And now people are financing over that new technology as well. So that's quite intriguing and exciting at the same time. But it also mentions the fact that you will have a lot of work to do on 1st March. So that's one way to see it. But yeah, now when I talk about investing and financial forecasting, I guess it's a topic that right now every one of us, like me and my team also, we are like into right now investing. Although my portfolio is really in a bad shape right now, but that's a separate discussion, I guess. That's something that I won't be sharing because I'm right now learning. So I don't want anyone to say, okay, you need to learn. Abhi aap bacche ho, thoda seekho. I don't want that in comments, so let it be aside. But yeah, when financial forecasting comes as a topic now, people are like very much confused about it. Like, where to start, why to start, how to start, and they don't exactly know that how they'll be using it, like how the asset building is done through that. And there is quite a lot of confusion with that what is exactly like investing, financial forecasting, and what are the basics of it. And like, exactly, people are very much confused. Like, if I'm investing in a stock, then if is that financial planning, is that financial forecasting? And I'm seeing the stock growing, is that financial forecasting? Or opening an SIPs and financial forecasting? It's like, it's a blend of everything. So the next question of mine is that what are some of the like basic basics of the financial forecasting? Like, what are the things that people generally tend to not know, and as a as a CMA, yourself, okay, these are the things that comes under financial forecasting, and it kind of separates people confuse some things as financial forecasting. So I want to know more about that. Like, what kind of things and activities is done under financial forecasting, and what are some of the misconceptions around it?
Okay. To clarify one thing to the viewers as well, there's a huge difference between analyzing the market, as you were saying, the stock market, you watching the trends, what are the candles doing, and that is whole entire subject, right? And I don't think that's my expertise as well. But what I can tell the viewers about is about costing, right? Because I have my expertise in that. What manufacturing units, what the industry does, what is the forecasting in that genre particularly. Because investing is quite interesting, and it will just, one podcast will never be enough about
True,
it.
true, very
right.
true.
So when we talk about financial forecasting, it's very different. You're talking about budgeting, you're talking about forecasting, you're talking about investing, asset management, right? Your capital resources, and how you wish to utilize your resources in the best manner, so that it's efficient, it's profitable, and it is increasing your stakeholders' value, right? So, building upon budgeting, there's this famous quote that why do we do budgeting? Even your moms, right? All are in brown households, and right,
True, true.
moms have their budget that you're not getting this kind of pocket money, you're not receiving this kind of goodies, because we have a strict budget to follow.
Very true.
Reason being, your budget, you're navigating where your money is going, rather than you wondering where your money went.
That's true.
Right, because you have to manage it, rather than you wondering that I had this certain amount money in my account, where is it now? So it has to be controlled in a certain manner, and this is where our job comes in, right? This is how we make money by moderating your company's budgets, forecasting. So what forecasting means in a very layman language, that I have a certain company ABC. I wish, like we are sitting at a podcast, I'm making this mics. So before I begin making mics, what do I need?
Okay.
I have to break it down. So what is needed? Raw materials are needed, basic utilities, that these kind of equipments are needed, these kind of wires are needed, these kind of technicalities are required for this. And then we start budgeting for it. That hey, I need certain amount of this mics to reach this kind of production. So for that, I have to forecast my sales as a newcomer. What will be my market share? What are my competitors here, right? So accordingly, I'll have a basic idea of what should be my optimal sales to make profit. What should my break even, right? So that is forecasting. I'm assuming before I start implementing things, because you just going blindly in the direction, right, where you have no plan, you have no strategy. You're just like, I want to do it, so I'll do it. It's like you were saying about, we were talking about podcast as well. You have to have a plan.
True.
Right.
Very true.
Before, other than that, you are just walking in a lightless, blank, black, dark hole without no plan. That is forecasting in a very basic layman. You plan before you start your production, right? What will be my easiest and cheapest source of production, right? What are machineries required? How will I gather all those products? Am I, outsourcing my labors or my marketing? What has to be done behind the curtains, right? So that is basically forecasting. I'm trying to derive a plan, a certain number, that certain sales have to be met, for that certain products have to be made, for that certain labors have to be there at my manufacturing unit, certain machinery are required, and how will I allocate all these things with a very limited budget? Because I have to make profit as well, otherwise it's of no point, right?
Very
So it is all intertwined. They are indispensable tools of finance, financial planning and analysis, right?
So I guess that's very just like articulated to the point and detailed. And it's like I have one thing that I really very much related to is the fact that it's very much you need a lot of planning. Like before this podcast also, I have started one of my initiatives which failed miserably, but that was one of the initiatives where I got to know that how much detailed plan I need in order to get into that, to tap that market. And I guess it's one common thing with startups as well, especially when you are starting in your 20s, as you said, that you need planning, you need to know behind the curtains that what is going on. In fact, there has been cases that I don't know, before Oyo, I guess, I recently came to know about this Stays Villa. I guess there was this hotel booking company, and they had a very good, before Oyo, they were having a really good position in the market, and they have everything planned. Forecasting they have done everything, and still they failed. After Oyo, they failed miserably. They were giving so much of discounts, they were laying off people, raw materials, they were compromising, and everything they were compromising. But then it didn't work out. They got the people, but they were not able to sustain that. So I guess that's one thing, like as you said, forecasting though is a must, and even after forecasting, you don't know where you'll go.
True.
Plus, it's like, as you said, it's like luck, labor, chance. As my mom likes to keep it. Luck, labor, chance. You have to do the labor. You need to have luck, and then you need to get the chance. It's. I guess forecasting kind of emphasizes on the importance of labor that you need to keep in, and not just forecasting. There are other things as well. Obtaining from some particular, like as you said, for the mic, you need to have a particular production unit that will give you the raw materials. Now if he'll give you, or he will have monopoly, and so that's very much, it's a completely different thing, I guess. And in the recent times when I was doing research for this podcast, I got to know so many different sort of things. It's like forecasting finance is embedded in almost like in every single thing. Even in this bottle of water, the finance guy has been going through कि कहाँ से I'll get that, movers advantage and everything. So I very much agree to the fact that how important forecasting is. I guess here, to all the listeners who are like very much interested in forecasting, this is a great explanation, I'll say it's a very great explanation. So yeah, if you want to understand it, repeat the part. Not saying it for the views, but okay, I'll count that as well. But anyways, so yeah, that's one thing. Now, when I mentioned about startups, you must have seen so many, like during your journey, you must have come across so many people, so many of your colleagues going through startup, doing a startup, and you must have seen that, like, is there ever been any instance like you have seen that those who are starting this startup, they are making certain mistakes in, like, like in that financial, in finance mistakes, basic finance mistakes, amateur finance mistakes, are very, like those mistakes that even the experts can make and miss, and things that, like, I want to know about those things that you think is one of the major reasons that creates those pain point, and things that the that the budding entrepreneurs can do in order to, like, mitigate the pain points, and maybe even remove it from their journey. So, like, I want to know more about that.
Awesome. That's a great question, actually. I remember this quote from this famous person. I don't remember the name, but it goes something like, strategies without tactics is the slowest route to the victory, and tactics without strategy is, just noise before your defeat. So your strategies must be aligned with your tactics, and usually people fail to do that because there's no vision. And strategic planning, your strategic management, your financial planning, as again I was saying, it's not just your admin work. There is so much more to it. What are the frameworks and policies that you take advantage of, right? So the basic fundamental of strategic planning, it bridges the gap. Financial modeling, right? It bridges the gap of your long-term vision, the purpose of your business, the vision, to your day-to-day management. And majority, I mean, there are a lot of startups that are succeeding as well, and a lot of who are making break evens, right? But the major pinpoint that, as you were saying as well, the pain point is that people fail to relate to their customers. They fail to stay relevant. They fail to deliver the message of what is the purpose that is driving their entire organization, right? And just few days ago, very tragedy happened that, Ratan Tata, right? Suddenly, we were not expecting. So what is Tata doing? What did Tata do right in the past few decades? He delivered his vision, mission, and the purpose of his business to its customer. And now whenever we think about Tata, we know the purpose. What Tata and all the Tata and Sons subsidiaries and all the companies, they are in all the sectors, all sector possible.
Very true.
Like there will be in rare scenario, there will be one or two industry missed by Tata, right? So why do we relate with Tata? Because we know what is driving the organization, and it is well balanced. So a lot of the startups fail to do that. They focus on short-term planning, but fail to think about what is my long-term vision.
Okay.
Where do I want to be in next 5 years, 10 years? So the mentality of customers about your brand will take off.
Okay.
right? You have to relate.
Hmm.
If it's not relatable, people don't prefer it. And the other factor that is a major pinpoint, that new founders, new entrepreneurs fail to have good relation with their employees or their team, because it is chaotic. You're building a new company from the seed level. There's so much chaos. You have to have all the compliances, all the processes. You have to get started in terms of whichever industry it is, right? So your employees will help you drive the organization to the next level.
True. Very
So for that, you have to have good relation. And in the very beginning, I see this is a major point, that monetary incentives are preferred by anyone. I mean,
Yes, yes.
I'm giving you 6-8 hours a day. What am I getting back?
Hmm.
Bits and pieces. I'm not working for bits and pieces. But if you are asking me to work on bits and pieces because you believe in this organization, that then you have to pass that message to me. That hey,
Exactly.
this is our vision, and
Exactly.
the willingness has to come. If it's just मन मार के काम कर रहे हैं तो नहीं बढ़ेगा आगे.
Such. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like it's one of those, like as you mentioned, Tata. Like now, as the conversation is going on, we can see finance is connecting with so many things, ranging from advanced corporate strategies to raw material planning to inventory management. Everything it's connected with so many dots, and so is Tata, like one of the biggest conglomerates that we are having on the planet. And yes, I guess Ratan Tata was like I remember one of the stories that was shared in our class about Ratan Tata, that they were out for a trip to a hill station. Over there, their car punctured. And generally, they were like having the driver who can help with the, replacing the tire. Ratan Tata being such old, still he went, he said, no, I'll do it. I want to do it, I'll do it. He didn't let the driver do anything. Instead, he said, कि आप जाके चाय पी लो, आप थोड़ा रेस्ट कर लो, मैं करूँगा. All the driver did help, but he was like, he was not asking for it. He's like, कि मैं करूँगा. He wanted to, like understand everything from a very deeper perspective. And at that time, he was working with Nano, which I think shouldn't have failed, because that was a really great thing that Ratan Tata did.
Amazing initiative.
Yes, and the case study, I feel so bad when I see that this case study failed just because of the fact that Ratan Tata and Tata said that it's cheap instead of affordable. That's just one reason. That one reason, despite of everything having in place, that shows that a financial planning, forecasting, material planning, everything was in place. Still, they failed just because of that one word.
That is negative connotation.
Yes.
You have to deliver your brand to your customers in such a manner that it feels positive, it feels homely, it feels
Exactly.
warm, right?
So yeah, and even Ratan Tata addressed it, and then later on, so he completely he just charged the market, and he just completely changed it with all the cars, with all the innovations, everything. So yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
I really like the fact that you have mentioned it, because I was like very much it's really something that we need to discuss.
Yeah.
That it's the best example even is taking every measure, and yet they fail sometimes. So we
Yes.
can't be very much, like we have to be very much aware of that. We have to also be aware of all the mistakes that we can make. And even after planning everything, if we don't have luck, we will eventually not succeed in the
Yeah.
given time frame. But we will eventually someday. Like,
We
that's-
believe in you.
Yes, we believe in you, because there is no theory for luck. I'm sorry. For that, you'll have to go to astrology, and we can't do that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's. I need some water.
But interesting about Tata, the entire group of Tata, that he led by example. That is a wonderful, wonderful definition of leader, right? And this is again another reason that why startups fail, because the people who are in the leadership role, in the senior leadership role, they lack the spark, right? Egoistic nature, dominating nature, they all have their own perks and cons, but leading by example. If you won't do it, why will your employees follow? As simple as that.
True.
Tata being humble man, relating to all the middle class people, having the initiatives that I want to do something for citizens of India. I want to do something for my people. I want to take my country ahead.
Yes.
Right. That is the passion we require in this kind of scenario, right? As a growing economy as well, and our economy is going to take a step back because such a huge loss we have faced.
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, our economy. We have literally lost a Ratan. The Ratan
True,
of our economy. We have
undoubtedly.
literally, because yes, that's. I mean, I remember we were like having that. We were playing Garba, and we suddenly saw the news. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's very unexpected. And yes, but yeah, that's it. It's something that we all have collectively lost, and yes, now we will be hoping that whoever will be taking over Tata, whatever the future is, it's bright. It's the flame that Ratan Tata lit, that Ratan Tata has, like started with, that flame goes on, that is always, like shining, and everyone is knowing about that. So yes, and yes, may his soul rest in peace. But
Yes.
yes, thank you so much, Mr. Tata, for that. And now
He's an
yes,
inspiration
yes,
to all the young
definitely.
entrepreneurs in
Definitely,
India.
definitely. And yes, now moving on, when we also talk about young entrepreneurs, we also have the student group, especially in that, like in that young entrepreneur category. And also in that, we have students who have much more definite planned aspirations. Like they have a proper foolproof plan. That, okay, I have to do this, I have to do that. Now, one of the common things in that plan is studying abroad, going out of India for, like for studying, for, like honing and grooming their skills, and coming back and making even more money because of their expertise. So and you also have a background in that field. Like you have also gone for exchange programs. You have also received a scholarship at the age of 15 from state. And that's very impressive. I was like, when I read that, I was like, that's great, that's amazing. And
Thank
that,
you.
like, really, that makes you like, this makes you the perfect person to for me to ask this question, and for my listeners who are interested in that, to like get the answer to that, and how abroad studies can be one of the most vital assets. So starting with that, the very first thing that I want to ask you about abroad studies is the basic, that is that how their educational system, or as we can say, how international education system is different from ours. Like what are their benefits, what are the pros and cons, and what things can we learn from them and they can learn from us.
Definitely, this is very interesting because giving my background, I have done my primary education in the language medium school, right? So my relation to English was very far away, right? I could barely do basic communication, like necessary things, right? But I got this wonderful opportunity because I always had the passion of learning something new. This Albert Einstein's quote that I have no special talent, I'm just passionately curious. And that what drive me, right? So I was very young when I went to US for my high school education, and it completely changed my life. The personality I had before I went to the States, and once I came back, they're two different people. I mean, you can take testimonies from the family and all the peers around me that it truly changes you, but only when you take opportunities instead of hanging out with the same people, right? Because that is what has become. A lot of people are going to Canada, States, UK, and they are staying in the same community. Like we are trying to find same people. If I'm a Gujarati going to Canada, I'll find my Gujarati hood and I'll just stay with them. That limits my knowledge and the exposure. Well, of course, you can enjoy the lifestyle and everything, but it really bounds you. So you have to go and push your comfort zone, right? You have to push past your limits. So talking about the difference between the educational system, I was completely shocked. I was blank for straight 1 week that what do I have to do? Because we have the habit of sitting in one classroom, teachers coming and going, teaching you what to do from a textbook. They don't have kind of textbook system, right? They have a customized way of what they want to teach. You have the liberty to take whatever subjects you wish to learn, right? There is no particular stream that I want to do science or commerce or something like that. I can take finance and I can take biology with it. There is no obligation with that, right? I can take music as an entire career and learn all the subjects. I learn the learn all the instruments. So such kind of liberty is given, but somehow Indians are still ahead of usual Western countries in terms of education, because we take education very seriously, because we want to accomplish something in life, and it's a cornerstone, right, for us, and our families push us to do that. But why you should study abroad at least even once in your life? Because it will change your perspective toward life. There's this quote in our particular field of exchange students and our community we use, that it is not right, it is not wrong, it is just different. Any cultural perspective, any educational scenario, we tend to jump to conclusions that, hey, this is not the right way to do it. Hey, this is not the actual way of teaching or something like that. It's just different. It's their methodology, and they can do if it's efficient enough. So it's quite different, but some way it's very encouraging that students have the liberty. The assessment is different, the teaching style is different. You have the option to make up your work, right? We have the pressure of, hey, board examination is coming, you have to come in A1, A2, you have to score 80 plus, 90 plus. That is the pressure we face, right? Whereas their credit system is quite different, right? You can take whatever subjects you wish. They have different teaching styles. They have laptops, iPads as their basic sources, right? And I loved that so much, because I hate writing stuff. My handwriting is terrible, right? I barely write examination. In the US CMA was a blessing to me, because I didn't have to write anything. I had to type, and I love using technology. Why not, right? So it opens a lot of fields for you. It gives you new perspective. And all those who are studying abroad have this interesting theory, right? We use this interesting theory. Do you know iceberg?
Yes. I know.
So, right, like the 20% of the tip is outside, and the remaining 80% is under the ocean, right? But we fail to see that,
Yes.
right? This is what education system, not just education system, but the culture, the lifestyle is all about. You are just staying there in Canada, US, UK, Australia, whichever country, you're staying with the same similar set of people that you stayed in India with. You are just limiting yourself
True.
to the basics, right?
Yes,
You are not
very
digging deeper and trying to learn more. Your skills will be the same. Yes, you will, of course, enhance your negotiation skills and your communication, because you have to do that when you are living in a different country. But are you really learning something new about the market and the culture?
Yeah, I agree to that. I mean, the fact that people constrict themselves, because I even observed this, that it's tough. Like going out of your community is tough, but you have to do it. Like recently, what happened was this year, I went for a conference to Italy, and that was the very first time I went out of India, and I was very nervous, because I was not hoping that I'll be like, okay, I'll be able to get this, because it was basically I was one of the delegates for that conference. It was like a scholarship kind of thing,
Amazing.
and it was a big deal. Like we were like, it was a completely sponsored thing, and I was like very much nervous. I was jittery. I was like, okay, I actually got this. Pretty selection ho gayi hai. So I was in that state. I was like, okay, how will I like interact with them? Their accent, their dialect is so crisp and clear, and I have to. And will I be able to understand it? Because I watch English films with subtitles. Okay, it's no offense in that I do, and it's okay to do. Okay, so I was very much like, okay, now I'll go there. I have to actually face them. There will be no subtitles, so we have to actually have that conversation. Now, when I went, there were so many things that happened, and it like the whole podcast duration will go in that. So, but the basic what happened was, like, when I landed over there, the first thing I did was I lost my luggage. Okay, that's a complete different story again.
That is an adventure itself.
Exactly. But then I met the people. I was so nervous. They made me so comfortable. And despite in the first day, because this happened luggage wala thing, I was thoda sa like as a shant. So I felt that maybe I was a bit rude. But the second day I was talking with everyone, and it's okay. And I was understanding what they were saying. So I was happy. Okay, I can do a conversation. I can make it to a conversation. We did that, and I got to, in those, like, it was for 6 days only, but in those 6 days I learned so many things in those 6 days. And I was like, okay, there is like, if I'll if I would have studied over there, the upward vichar that would have came back, he would have learned so many different cultures. And because like, okay, we like when in my personal venture, in my previous venture, in my previous personal venture, we get to interact a lot with the foreign officials online. But and plus immunes also sometimes help you with that. But again, it's like now I was actually like meeting them in person, and it's a complete like when you are with them, like there was this one guy, his he shared about his whole life, like about his relationships, about his family, and we had a very deep conversation. We were sharing about our lives, and it was so like we connected on so many different levels. I got to learn about so many different cultures from Germany, of Europe, of Italy, and it was a very kind of different experience that opened my eyes to a lot of new things. It showed me that okay, education is not just writing, reading, and jotting down everything that is being written on board. It's more than that. It's more than everything that you have seen out. So yes, this experience kind of resonated me. Like it, not kind of, it resonated with me a lot. I because I can see that how the pattern is going, and how with every experience I'm learning, with every meeting, with every conversation, with every sip of coffee, I'm learning something. So that's one thing, and I guess that's something that we should all prefer. But again, I also love my country, and I know there are a lot of problems. The biggest one being infrastructure. But apart from that, we have deep roots of culture. We do, as you mentioned, we do take our education like it's for us. It's a very big deal. It's like JEE is like a puja right now. It's like a ritual. Everyone has to go through it. Me, JEE, NEET, care, everything. Me personally being a bio student from 11th in 11th and 12th, I knew that people were crazy about it. Like NEET ke liye, they were like, will you exchange your paper with me? Will you exchange your textbook with me? We had that trade every time. And we studied for the same. But in international space, it's completely different. Those students are like, they are enjoying their life as well. They are studying as well. And they are submitting essays, if I'm not wrong. They give for
SATs.
topics, SATs, and not even like they have to provide write-ups or essays that they have to submit on a, like in literature they give a book and then they say that write an essay that what you learned from it. If I'm not very much aware about that because America is yet to be like tick marked on the checklist, but right now I know enough only that they have to submit essays on certain topics. They have to do activities for math, science, and everything instead of jotting down and writing down. It's a very different, as you said, very
it's
different
amalgamation of both.
Exactly. And that kind of framework in India, so like for the teachers that we have, that they get out because of the politics, and those who actually implement it because they are becoming favorite among students, other teachers can't tolerate it, they shoo them out. It's a completely different topic, and I don't want to offend any teachers out there. So yes, but yeah, now talking about the international space, what kind of skills do you think as students who are going to abroad or are planning to go to abroad must have? They should hone that skill. They should be ready with their mindset that okay, I have to possess these skills. I need to have this mindset, and I have to have certain expectations. Ki, okay, this will happen with me. This mishap will happen with me. Like with personally, I never thought that on the first day I'll land in Florence. My luggage will just go it will be still in Zurich. I had never imagined that. So these kind of what kind of things, from your personal experience, what do you think is some things that we should keep in mind, and what kind of skills should we be prepared beforehand? We should have and we should possess and we should practice beforehandedly only, so that we have a bit easier journey in our bit easier study journey in abroad, and we can proliferate and thrive accordingly because of this advantage that okay, we have learned this. So what are some of those skills and some of those and what is the mindset exactly that we should be having, and what things should we consider before going abroad?
This is really fascinating and interesting and very close to what I do as just I don't know how to put it in exact words, but that is what I enjoy doing, communicating and engaging with students who are going abroad, because I have been facilitating students since last 2 years in the similar field, and it's really interesting because it's subjective to which country you are going. from which home country, right?
Very
As an
true.
Indian, you have different mentality. As a European, you have a different mentality. As a Russian, you have a different mentality. And as a US citizen, you have a different mentality. So when we talk about a nuance vision, a nuanced perspective on what kind of skills you should have when you're going to abroad, and it's not just for Indians who are watching, is to have no expectations, because we have built such scenario in our head from watching all the Insta stories, because that is sometimes I feel like this is what the major attraction is nowadays, that everyone is going to Canada, US from India, so we should do it because everyone is going. But have you seen the economy over there? Have you seen the financial situation over there? It's really tough to find a job. On what research you are going to Canada? Do you have a certain background? Do you have a set life? Then go ahead. If you are a first from your family to go international to study abroad, choose country wisely. Choose the opportunities wisely, not just भेड़ चाल में चलना नहीं है यहाँ पे, right? So this is very interesting. What kind of skill set you should have, right? Those are called global competencies, 21st century, right? Because whichever country we go into, there is a different demand. People have different style of communication, right? When I went to States, we don't have the basic etiquettes here of asking, hi, how are you doing? How's your day? Thank you so much. Oh my God, please. Those are not the words we use. We are very frank. We are very rude to our friends, right? We are
Especially
very
Delhi
brutal.
people.
Yeah.
Delhi people, so it's a different story. Even if you like have eye contact for more than 10 seconds, लड़ाई हो जाती है कि क्या
क्यों
देख
देख रहा है? Exactly. So being humble, having basic listening and communication, speaking skills is really important and vital in this world we are living in, right? Being humble, being polite, because we Indians also have a very high, loud pitch, and this was a major obstacle to me. People are like, "Why are you screaming?" I'm like, "I'm just having a normal conversation." It's like, "No, this is screaming." And I'm like, "Okay, I have to tone it down," right? So this is about observing. And this is where interesting tool I teach all the students as well whenever I communicate, because when I'm taking a session, I have students from Japan, I have students from European countries, North America, South America. So I can't emphasize on one particular region. It has to be a global perspective. There is this tool we use called DIVE. Okay. DIVE. DIVE. First, you describe what you're seeing with facts. Right? You observe first, because we have the tendency of jumping into conclusion, building stereotypes कि अरे ये तो ऐसे ही करता है. You've seen only 2 people doing it, but you have built this mindset that people are like this only. अरे I went to US, people are racist, I have brown skin tone, people don't talk to me, they are not polite to me. So you're building a stereotype based on 1 or 2 conversation with someone. This is very subjective. Right. Similar thing can happen. We see a lot of cases where foreigners come and they get harassed and something like that. But this is not the scenario for the whole nation. Not everyone is like that. So this is how we have to distinguish between stereotypes and generalizing what is happening. Right. So first is you describe what you're seeing. Just see with no biases, right? With no stereotypes, and then you interpret. What am I seeing? From all the perspectives. Because when you are a international student, when you are in a different country, right, there are a lot of factors playing a role in what is going on, right? Culture is different, the situation is different, the people are different, the upbringing is different, the ethics are different, right? And you are trying to coordinate with that person. Of course it will going to be difficult. This is where people face a lot of difficulties in making friends. They go to Canada, they go to US, they have friends, as I was saying as well, they have the same community from the same country and region, rather than interacting with people from the native land. Because there is a huge difference between both of them. And people are very rigid in their ways. They don't want to be flexible. Right? So you interpret. Then you verify. What am I seeing? What am I observing? Is it true? Because those are again negative connotation. I have a biases in my head, and this is my mentality now I've become. Because you have gone with an expectation कि ऐसा ही होगा यहाँ पे. So you go without expectation. You keep an open mind, right? You observe what is happening. You interpret अच्छा कि ऐसा हो रहा है from all the perspectives. Then you verify with a local person that hey, this happened to me. Is this true? This is how it happens. Take an example of Navratri happened. If a student had come here from US or a European country, they'll feel like, अच्छा ये तो इंडिया का Tomorrowland है. This is an observation because there is loud DJ, people are dancing crazy, people have dress करके आए हैं अच्छे से, तो this is what is happening. But so now they have an observation कि अच्छा इंडिया में तो यहाँ पे पार्टी होती है in this particular state, but they don't know why. Because we are worshipping our goddess Durga.
Exactly.
We are worshipping our gods. We are, providing our prayers, worshipping to the Lord, and celebrating, cherishing the ultimate victory of good over evil. People don't know that. Even I don't know. I'm not even sure how many Gen Zs and younger people know that.
Yes, that's true.
It has become a trend only, right? So this is where stereotypes come from, because you are not willing to learn something new. You are not willing to verify with a person, and then last is evaluate. Then you evaluate that, hey, what I observed, is it what is the actual information after verification? So this is the entire tool that you have to keep in mind while interacting with someone new in a new nation.
Yeah, I mean that's very much like in this four letters only we have talked about a majority of things that we should take care of. That's now I'm gonna use it a lot. D is for
You describe what is happening.
describe, interpretation, verification, and
Evaluate.
Now I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it. Now I know this. I'm gonna use it. I can imagine myself seeing and using it at so many places. It's
This
gonna
is
be one of
really
those.
helpful, yeah.
Yes, it's one of those helpful tools, and yes, I guess people. I mean, I very much agree with this fact because it has happened with me as well. कि like दो लोगों का I've seen two people behaving with me in a certain way, and like okay, हाँ ये ऐसे ही है, जगह ये ऐसे ही है. Be it in India, anyway, be it in a different state, be it in a country, it's very kind of ubiquitous around everywhere. Like, people do make stereotypes. People are like, ये लोग ऐसे ही होते हैं. It's like Delhi. It's about something that I've seen in Delhi. Being like born in Delhi myself, I've seen कि people have that mentality कि दिल्ली वाले तो सिर्फ गुस्सा ही करते, झगड़ा ही करते, छोटी छोटी बात में लड़ाइयाँ हो जाती है. It's not very true. People are Delhi are sweet, okay. And so is in Gujarat. Gujarat में everyone is like कि सबको बस धंधा ही करना है. No, it's not like that. People are into many things, and yes, it's the story behind, basically it's like you have to know the story behind everything, and you will get to know that not in one day, not in 2 days. You'll have to spend years in order to
Yeah.
understand it. We have been born in India and yet we don't know. It's been like I'm of 20 years. For 20 years I've been living in this country and still I don't know a lot of things about this country.
True.
So it's like it takes years, and you can't just like like expect to know about a country within a few years, within 2 years. Like even if I'm going to study over there, it's not like I'll be knowing everything about Europe. I'll be like some things. Even as being in Europe, but yeah, we'll say in India that अब तो सब पता ही रहो, foreign से हो गया and I know everything. Ask यारे, this is not how it's done in Europe. Well, no, that's not that. I know everything. मुझे सब पता है. It's very different.
Yeah.
And with changing times, changing economies, everything changes.
Yes. And as you were saying about, having stereotypes about Delhi people, that, ये तो ऐसे ही होते हैं, गुस्सा करता है. So again, it's subjective, how people are, right?
Exactly.
So what is interesting, what you can do, this has literally changed my life, right? This has given me a new perspective. You try to put yourself in someone else's shoe. When you are having a conflict, whether it's terms of you are in a corporate or you're working at some organization, when you are in a conflict, when you're in a different scenario, right? You put yourself in someone else's shoe. कि अगर मैं इनकी जगह होता, would have acted the same way. What factors have impacted again, right? Because there are so many other different factors. Culture भी affect करता है, personality भी affect करती है, the upbringing, right? So you have to think from a new perspective because you bind yourself कि Delhi people ऐसे होते हैं, गुस्सा करता है. गाड़ी ठुक गई, गुस्सा ही करता है. अरे पर आप सिनारियो तो देखो.
Very true. Yeah, it's like there is a code even for what you have said. It's like you don't know what someone else is going through unless you have been into their shoes.
True.
It's very subjective. You can't be like very much judgmental. In today's day and age, you can't be judgmental. It's like unless and until you can't judge a person just by just by staying with them for a few hours, you can't just judge them. You have to spend time with them.
True.
You need to understand that okay, this person has so many layers, so much of this and that, and yes, it's very it's very complicated. I have to say.
Again, 20% of the iceberg is visible, the 80%
Exactly,
is not.
exactly. That's what we are showing. Yes,
Yeah.
20% only we are showing to people. We don't know what's inside them, and we'll have to. We can't say he's good or bad unless and until we know
True.
him or her. So yes, yeah, it turned out quite philosophical.
Indeed. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, international borders can be so philosophical. I never imagined, but here we are. So, but also as we mentioned in our conversation, people do learn things from the stay in international places. They like if someone has stayed in USA, a student will learn a lot of things. Like if I have stayed in USA, I will be learning a few things. I'll be learning about communication, public speaking, and I'll be understanding a lot of things much better than I used to do, and I'll be a changed person. But when it comes to jobs, when like people come back and like they're like, or if they stay in the States, they're like, okay, now we have to get a job. We have done our degree and now I'm planning to stay over here. Or I'm planning to get settled or something or whatever. It's like, it's a completely, it are the places which are unexplored and now they're going to step into it. They are going to test the waters. So so the thing that I want to know from you is that how they can like now when they are going to apply for jobs, how can they show to the recruiters that okay, this is my international exposure. I have learned these skills, and how can they highlight their learnings from international, from like like from international places, from USA, from Europe. How can they highlight their learnings? Like, what's the right way, and what things should they highlight when they are going for jobs, and what things should they not be highlighting and showing ki, okay, I have done this but I've also done this, and that also this wala thing, it shouldn't be mentioned in that resume, otherwise it will give a bad impression. So how can they like creatively and rightfully they can show their international exposure to the recruiter?
Yes, this is very interesting when you talk about how to apply in a new nation with a diverse background, right? So, what I would recommend highlighting is anyway, you as a person having a different background, it reflects in your personality. How you hold yourself, how do you represent what you believe in, right? And this is where, again, stereotypes come in because we have the tendency of speaking without thinking. We have tendency of jumping into conclusion.
Exactly.
Because what major interviewers are doing is they're putting you in a behavioral interview where they ask you scenario based questions to get to know your mentality, right? So again, we limit our thinking, we stay in comfort zone, and we tend to jump into conclusion very soon without thinking about a huge background or what other external factors are affecting, right? So one major recommendation I would have is have confidence, right? It has to resonate with the recruiter. Otherwise, it's of no point. If you are a person who's really shy, depends on what kind of job you want to do as well.
Okay.
Again, it's subjective. If you're applying for a junior role, if you're applying for a senior leadership role, it's completely different what interviewer is going to ask you, right?
Okay.
So it's important that you have confidence. You are a person of ethics. You have strong opinions. Yet again, you are flexible.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, I have also seen, I have been at the panels as well taking interviews. So people have very strong, rigid opinions. And interviewers are trying to nag you, to test you, right? They'll frustrate you to a huge extent if you are going for a higher role, right? How do you tackle those situations will get you out of it and get you a good pay and good job, right? So it's really critical for you to have calm, patient mind and be on point, like have facts, be flexible, don't be rigid. So that will reflect, that will come off in your personality only, and it will be really easy for you to communicate. Another thing is people are very, how do I put it in good words? They're very straight and have no expression. People don't tend to show their emotions, right? Because interviewers are looking how you're gonna handle conflicts or how you're gonna handle clients. If you're a person who's like Hanji with no smile and they want confidence, they want positivity. So you have to reflect that. and what not to highlight. This is very interesting question. A lot of recruiters ask, what is your weakness? And people tend to be very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. They're like, मेरा तो ये issue है, मुझे तो ये नहीं आता है. You are not supposed to say that. You tell the weakness which you are able to overcome.
Exactly.
If you're saying something impossible, which will be a huge red flag to the organization, why will they hire you?
True, very true.
And and a lot of people don't prepare the basic questions. When they ask, tell me about yourself, they're like, मेरे घर में इतने लोग हैं, this and that. They're not interested in listening to that. They'll ask, they'll do a background check. You have to be articulated. We understand technical questions and other questions which are going to be on the spot. They are difficult to answer. But the basic questions should be articulated. People are like, आपकी strength क्या है नहीं पता है. I am good at this. They give very vague answer. No, you have to narrow it down. You have to look at the job description. What is the requirement, and then customize your answer to every single interview.
Exactly.
This is a recommendation.
No, I mean, recently only I myself was giving an interview for an internship. Like, it happened before the podcast. Before I started this, I was like trying to apply for internships, and I did saw this pattern where like I started like applying for, out of curiosity. I started to apply for internships, seeing कि देखते क्या होता है, कहीं पे बुलाते कि नहीं. Started same problem कि बोलना क्या weakness. I'm like, what should I say? Like, sir, I'm not always on time. I'm never on time. So I can't say that. If I have to say that, then I have to be very, like, I have to present it very creatively. So my time management skill is a bit on the weaker side, but I'm always improvising, and
Definitely,
I am like
yes.
with every single day I am getting better and better, and I'm trying to like I'm making timetables and scheduling things on my phone. I'm using these and this and that tools and everything, so that looks more professional.
Yes, it has to be assertive.
Exactly. And it's very much like I have seen some of the things that you have said. Some of these things I've seen myself. People are like saying, मेरे घर में 4 लोग हैं, मैं चौथा इंसान हूँ, मेरे माँ बाप ने मुझसे बहुत उम्मीदें रखी हैं, मुझे ये जॉब चाहिए, नहीं मिलेगी तो फिर मेरे को घर से निकाल देंगे, खाना नहीं मिलेगा. It's like, it's a completely like people, and then we say that people are not getting jobs in India. Why? If you'll answer like this, definitely you won't get a job.
Yes.
That's one thing. And not just in India, out of India though, it's like, if someone will hear this, like a foreigner though he'll be so totally confused.
Where are you coming from? क्या background है ये?
Like, should we hire you? Should we not hire you? Should we hire you out of sympathy, or should we hire you out of empathy? We don't know. It's very like confusing at times. It gets everyone will get in a dilemma that like, what should I do now? ये तो like कटघरे में खड़ा कर दिया मेरे को. If you are Indian, then तो it's like इसको निकालो, इसको बस थोड़ी होबी दे दो. It's like we'll get back to you later. HR वाले
Indians के लिए ऐसा नहीं है. Indians are the most demanded people
वो demanded है.
outside. Don't say like this.
No, not on outside. In India, I'm just talking. In India, because outside, so they are like be it Adobe, be it Google, anywhere, you'll find an Indian CEO. Be it, I have like, even when I went to Europe, after every building, after every block, I was finding an Indian. I was like, ये अपने ही लोग हैं.
The major issue is there is such disparities. Either we are doing really well or we are left.
Exactly.
So this is what we have to do in our nation, that we have to empower all those who require the basic resources, basic education, right? That is also critical.
Yeah, I agree. Even like people outside who make it out of India and who they are doing very well. They have equipped themselves with that. But in India, there are like so many people who don't get that chance, who don't get exposed so much. Like, we are lucky enough. We all students who are watching this, who are like, there will be a set of people who might not be able to even watch this podcast. They don't even have that resources. So it's like, it's a very big issue, and because of that, somewhere they lack in that, like basic soft skills they are not having. And when they get exposed to that environment for the very first time, they're like, कि मैं इस घर से हूँ, यहाँ से हूँ, वहाँ से हूँ. So it's a very it's a critical thing. People are trying to, plus we are having a very an insane number of population, like 100 million, 1 billion. I'm like, it's like 100 crores we are having. I'm like, it's everywhere you'll find Indian nowadays. So it feels like that in India, although you'll find Indians everywhere, but apart from that, foreign also, in every corner you'll find, somewhere you'll find an Indian. इट्स लाइक जस्ट भारत माता का वो फ्लैग लेके जाओ, भारत का है, भारत माता की चाहे बोलो, कोई ना कोई आ गया. Anyone तो will like it's very evident now. But yeah, I agree to this point that people need to like soft skills is something that should be taught, even if you are from that financial background where you are like affluent enough. But even if you are like not affluent enough, you still should be getting access to those skills, because that's only how you'll survive. In fact, in today's day and age where where things are changing so fast, so rapidly, I don't think so. Without soft skills, we'll be surviving.
True,
It's-
true. This is where the differentiation between foreign education and Indian education comes, because in India the schools don't provide enough opportunities to sharpen your soft skills
True,
or
very
communication
true.
skills. You're focused on your marks and your written exam, right? And again, this goes again two different opinions for Indian education as well. Private school will provide you opportunities, but what about the government and middle class schools?
वहाँ से
The
तो
average
like it's very
population will remain at the par only or
Very-
below par, right?
Exactly. I mean, even in private schools, it's like sometimes it gets kind of a bias comes that okay, he's my favorite the teacher. कोई बोलता है ना कि he's teachers, but he'll get every opportunity. And I've seen that happening with myself. That a lot of times it happens. कि like there are so many opportunities that came in my school, and I have to go myself to grab that. They're like every other. Some students were getting that served on their plate, and I have to go and snatch that in order to proliferate, in order to grow, and that too at a very young age. I was in 7th when I got to know कि okay, ये politics होता है, and that from there I got to know okay, there is something called politics and it's very dirty. So that's how it comes. I guess it's how it is, but I hope that things change with this conversation. Somewhere it contributes, like even in a very minute way, it contributes to that change. It might be something that begins the change. I hope that. I really hope that, because that's one of the reasons that I've started this podcast. We want to create an impact. So yes. But now when we talk about like now we have talked about getting jobs, studying in USA, getting jobs and everything, and especially now if we have to come to your field about CMA, about cost management account, cost managing certified management accountant. My bad, हो जाती है गलती. So certified management accountant, if we have to see in US, they have like now you have also got your license, and I'm assuming that you will be now going to the States for further jobs, or you'll be like doing from India.
No, I will be continuing from India because India is the best market to work right now. It
That's
has the best opportunities if you want to start something new, right? So I think I'm gonna stay in India for a while at least to get more experience, because I feel going to a new country you have to start from scratch itself, whereas I feel I'll get more better opportunities in India as of now. And people have this bias as well again, that if you're doing US CMA, CPA, CFA, then that means you're moving to US or a different country, but not necessarily. MNCs are all over the world. You can work from any country, right? So it's not important that you have to move.
And to all my listeners, you have the advice: stay in India. Because yeah, that's, I guess, if we have to change the country, we have to stay in the country first, then only we'll
True.
make the change.
Yes.
Yeah. So now the thing that I wanted to ask you is that when people like prepare for CMA, when they start their preparation, not everyone is knowing the very basic that how should they start, what resources should they refer, and that's a very detailed topic. But if you had to share with us something that all the aspiring CMA students should keep in mind before they start their preparations, like you have cleared it in your very first attempt. So what things did you you did, and what steps did you take in order to have an organized preparation where everything was like in a structure, and which helped you in ways which you have never even imagined, that okay, I never thought ki doing this will help me achieve this. So what are some of the tips that you will give to the beginner, to the aspiring CMA students who will now be stepping into
Yes.
the preparations?
Yes, similar questions I get a lot on my LinkedIn as well. Major first thing, you have to do thorough research about what is this qualification about, because people want to do something कि अच्छा pressure आ रहा है घर से, CA नहीं करना है, so I'll do something which is, because marketing of CMA, CPA, CFA is done in such a way that you can easily crack. It is not the case. You are paying a ton of money to get resources to give the exam as well. Right?
Exactly.
You have to pay certain amount of money to attempt the exam, and if you fail, you have to pay again. So people don't do thorough research. So first, I would recommend is go to IMS website, do thorough research about all the courses offered. from any country, not necessarily US, what you're interested in. Because a lot of people again do because family pressure hai, kuch karna hai, I need some additional qualification. No, do something that is inspiring for you. Do something that you are interested in. That is something you want to do in future as well. And why I did management accounting is you get the opportunity to think out of the box. You are not limiting to just financial process of debiting and crediting and handling invoices and accounting, right? It gives you a seat at the board, seat at the leadership roles, where you navigate the business, you make the strategic policies, plans, frameworks on what your company has to do, what is your vision, right? So it gives you to think out of the box. It gives you new projects, and I'm a kind of person who gets bored really easily. Have to constantly do something that is interesting and intriguing, right? This is why I opted the course, to have a foundational knowledge about what I have to build upon, right? Like then from there on, it's just you enhancing as per the industry you enter. But one of the major things helped me crack the exam in my very first attempt, that I'm a very how do I say, planned person. I have to arrange everything. I have OCD. I have to type it down everything. I have to have a calendar. It has to be booked. There has to be proper description in every
Likewise.
single thing.
Likewise.
Right. So this is what helped me, because as you were introducing in earlier as well, that I have so many extracurricular going on, other college education going on, other work I've been doing on, right? So all the time I had was summer breaks, the 2 months of summer, when there was no college examination or classes, right? I had a thorough plan. I used to get up at 4 in the morning, have study session for like 4 hours, then take a break, do other work, then come back to the preparation again. So you have to have a balanced approach on what your mind can take, because we have very different kind of attention span nowadays. Sabka alag alag hota hai, right? So you know yourself best than anybody else. Like, what is your focus time? How long can you concentrate for? And then make schedule accordingly. I have helped so many aspiring USCM and LinkedIn help customize their calendar and how they can move forward with the preparation, right? So first of all, you have to do a thorough research about the course, what is offered, what are the opportunities out there. Then you have a mindset that, is this something I want to do for my life? Is this something I want to gain? Right? Then you opt for it. Then you have a proper plan that what is the ideal time for you to prepare? What is the ideal time for you to give exam? Right? Because all I had was those 2.5 months during my summer to prepare for the exam and then attempt the exam as well. Right? And the best thing about what I find about foreign studies or these professional courses are they are not textual based. आपको रट्टा नहीं मारना है. This is not 100-page that IMA has given to you and you have to mug everything and the same questions will come. Exercise में इतना दिया है वही board examination में आता है. This is not like this. You have to know the concepts. You have to apply it in a practical way. And this is a message to all the viewers as well who are aspiring. If you are a kind of person जो रट्टा मार के एग्जाम क्रैक करता है, जिसको कोई कॉम्प्रिहेंशन नहीं है, this is not for you then. Because IMA makes question bank, a new question bank for every single window. There are new set of questions. It will be a rare scenario where आप एग्जाम में बैठे हो और आप सबको सेम similar questions है. Every single question is different. Right, and they are all customized. They are all case studies. They are good questions. Again, not scaring any viewers who want to attempt the exam. Again, they are divided in such manner that there are easy questions, there are moderate questions, there are difficult questions, and there are really difficult questions. This is all about your approach. Unless and until you have the basic understanding of concepts, practical approach, you won't be able to clear the exam. And this is the question I get a lot of the time, that because it's the MCQ based question, a lot of the exam like CPA, CFA, they are also mixed of both MCQ question and then case studies where you have to solve whatever case and accounts that they have given to you to solve, right? So you should have an approach. You are studying from a perspective that you want to learn. You will be able to apply it in the practical world industry. Otherwise, it's of no point. Right, so if you have that mindset, if you are actually learning from the lectures you are watching, then you will be great to go. The more practice, the more better for you, and you'll be able to crack the exam.
Some interesting tips for you guys. So, and it's, I guess, if this is something that I guess it's very, it's a good approach that they're having, that learning, like not that rectifying thing. Rote learning is not going to work. You will have to have your creative mind of like a financially creative mind. You should be keeping it in use. I guess that's a very good thing, and it kind of, I guess, explains the whole thing, that why it's so different, it's so unknown about, because people are either CA, JEE, NEET, and CAT.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Nowadays, MBA is the
CAT,
trend.
yeah, CAT, and even IP MAT now. It's like these are the few exams that people are aware of. And if I have to ask you this, what is more tough, CA or CMA?
Undoubtedly CA, because it's a lengthy process. It is divided in 3 stages. That to enter and final has 2 different groups, and there are so many papers to give. Again, it's written exam. That is
Very
again
true.
a challenge, right? Why I opted for CMA initially was planning for CPA only, but then I realized that I'm not interested in doing taxes and audit of someone. Right, this is not me. I want something creative. I want to be at senior leadership. I want to have my own business and do something creative, right? That is why certificate management accountant gave me a managerial plus a financial planning analysis kind of perspective to put in any business and organization. That is why I opted for CA. Is again lengthy process. If you have the determination, of course, it is a successful field, right? You're not going to be unemployed in that field. There is so much growth in it. But again, it's so challenging. It is time consuming, and I feel those 4 to 5 years I invest in CA, I can do so much more in those 3-4 years, right? Because I have to limit myself in the room and then constantly study and mug up everything and then write, practice in a certain limit. It's quite challenging mentally, and kudos to all those CAs who clear it and prepare for it. It's amazing, right?
Yes, it is. It is. So, like, you have saved yourself from being targeted by both the groups. Very
I'm not
wisely
targeting
answered.
anyone. I'm not targeting
Yes,
anyone.
but
It's
like
really
they'll be
challenging.
like, now they won't take any offense कि हाँ CA को ऐसा कैसे बोल दिया. It's like
नहीं
in the-
किसी को कुछ नहीं
very diplomatic, if I have to say. So,
No, I have immense respect for all CAs. I have a lot of friends pursuing CA. In fact, before I went to States, that was my plan only with my all friends that we all are gonna do CA. But then I felt like the post doesn't have to be perfect for everyone. Na?
Exactly.
It depends upon your aspiration, what you want to do. And I want to succeed quickly. I want to do so many things all together, and CA is something that a lot of dedication is required, a lot
Very
of hard work is
true, very
required,
true.
and this is something hybrid, flexible. I can work side by side, right? 2.5 months preparation, and I was good to go. I was ready to attempt, right? Whereas CA, huge respect to all the CAs out there.
yes, people like, I mean, yes, CMA and CA like both are amazing. Okay, and yes, CS too, like I've seen CS trying for 7 years. Intermediate students,
Yes.
final 7 साल से लोग दे रहे हैं, and it's like
Patient.
immense. इतना patience इनमें, I'm like, I don't know about CA, but you'll have a happy married life. So I can
You're
say
not eligible to give advice on marriage.
I am not eligible, but what I have seen again, parents' experience. At least वो तो देख के हम कह सकते हैं. You need a lot of patience. इतना तो I mean I have heard from my parents. मुझे नहीं पता. ठीक है. I am a student. I am a very ऐसा बड़ा ऐसा सर्वश्रेष्ठ बच्चा हूँ बिल्कुल. I'm not into that, but that's a completely different story. But yeah, I guess that's patience you need. Your patience is something that you need for CA. A lot of other things. So you can, if you don't clear CA, you get patience wala power, and you can like thrive at many places. Be it HR, be it management. You need patience, I suppose. It's
True.
like one of the
As a human being, you require only.
exactly. You have to be like, even if you are like going into some place where there are cultural differences, you might hear something, and now you're like, calm down, patient, be patient, give him some time, and then he'll be like, I'll be able to resonate. So yeah, that's one thing. But now being like, now you have prepared for CMA, you are now giving advice to students about CMA, you're teaching them. What is one, if you have to like share with me, with our audience, one secret about CMA that nobody, like some unknown fact that not everyone is knowing, that you got to learn throughout your journey?
There is
Something-
no as hard and fast secret about management accounting, but as I was saying earlier, there is this perspective that there is accounting you have to do, there is this maths you have to do. There is so much more than that.
Okay.
There is such a huge different segment of perspectives and concepts of you understanding management, the role of board of directors, the senior leadership, the CEOs, CFOs, and these kind of courses, professional qualification help you reach those levels, right? It's really important because if you are someone creative and curious like me who can't just focus on one thing, there has to be something interesting going on. This is perfect opportunity because each and every single project is different, right? Abhi I'm helping a business, international business, expanding into a new European country, and such a thriving job. I get to do research about new market. I get to give them advice about what they can do to cover the share market and what opportunities they can expand, take, right? So it's really interesting. And again, if you're someone who's like me who constantly wants something new, fascinating, then this is perfect.
Again, for all those people. And yeah, मेरे तो आया तो I always try, like I remember that starting from that personal venture of mine from Jal. Its name is Jal. You can like see it. I'm not running it right now. I have left it because I failed miserably, and I'm openly saying this because it's needed to be said that okay, people fail. I though have failed a lot of times in a lot of things.
No, I don't use the word fail. It's always a learning opportunity, right? How many startups someone had to do before they succeeded, right? Like take example of Vinita before she built Sugar. I mean, how many initiatives she had
Exactly.
done before. So it's never a failed experiment. It's just a small experiment that helped you build that great impactful initiative.
Very true. And but I guess at some point of time they will have to be like what do we say? We need to address the will some at some point of life we'll have to come to the word failure, that okay, failure you will experience and you'll have to listen to that word. I mean, you can't go without hearing that and without your seniors yelling at you saying that you are a complete failure, because a failure is a learner in a way. You will always learning. I have done I'm not glorifying, not in a pompous way I'm saying, but I have tried out a lot of things and it had not worked out for me. And even I don't know right now what will happen, because it's something that is the fundamental thing of life. It's again very philosophical, that you will have to just work. You never know what's coming. It's a completely like unknown paths and roads untaken, we can, if you have to say. That's a song by the way by Linkin Park. So it's like you can't just believe in the fact that okay, I have this plan. This will go. I'll go in this way only, because there are we make so many. You have. There must be instances where you have planned something and it went in a completely different way.
True.
So it's like it's very evident. So now I guess that's one of the things that we have learned today, that plan everything, but don't expect that it will go accordingly. So you'll have to keep the plan in case. And also with it, like I have seen that people plan, as you said, we plan a lot. So people sometimes confuse it for overthinking. Yeah, he's overthinking a lot. Like if I'm doing a podcast, let's say, I'll say, okay, I have to, if this happens, what I'll do. If this happens, what I'll do. Okay, if this happens,
Contingency planning.
right. So it's also like taken as overthinking, I guess, but it's not. But it kind of prepares you, okay, if any mishap, like if something happens, like right now only you came in, you saw that something has happened. It's something, and we were still preparing because something happened, some things were not working, so we have to work accordingly. So we were having that plan, okay, we'll do it by then, but again, things and factors won't be always the same. So yes, so we'll have to be calm in that situation and we have to plan. And I guess that's one thing that I really learned from this podcast, that you have to adapt, you have to learn, and you have to plan, but you don't have to expect that every time your plan will go well.
True.
It is bound to fail, but again, from that failure only you will learn and you will become the next Sundar Pichai, the next Steve Jobs. And I guess people don't want to take that leap of faith. That's why so many stays left behind, and only a few of them, that 1%, as we say, 1% club, that only do that because they are not afraid of failure. They're like, okay, we'll fail, okay, don't worry, we have second plan, we'll initiate that. So I guess that's one of the learnings that I had from this podcast. And now we are at the end of this podcast, and yes, this conversation can go on for so long. I mean, there are so many. We started from finance, and at the end we came to philosophy only. So we can say that finance always comes at like पैसों की बात करोगे, philosophy पे तुम आओगे ही आओगे. Like it's at the, because I am thinking if we take this conversation, like if we would have the chance कि we can do the conversation for like, we have endless time, we can do it for like 24 hours. Then at the end we'll be like, क्या है पैसा, क्या है नहीं. It's all materialistic. everything is materialistic.
There's no
happening.
wrong in being materialistic. Bluntly said.
Exactly. So that's, I guess, but yeah, that's very interesting. I really like that fact about today's conversation. So moving on, approaching towards the end, last few questions, starting with the very first one, that is, who is Sia Joshi? Not just for like the achievements, for the acquisitions, for like for every material thing that you're having, or from the achievements that you're having. Who is Sia Joshi without all of that? Who is the true Sia Joshi? And what made her the Sia Joshi with whom I'm sitting today?
Oh, this is a really tough question. Who am I without my achievements? Well, again, as I was earlier explaining to you as well, when I went to States, and my whole journey from being a student at a language medium school and then receiving a scholarship to abroad, I always had the passion of being financially independent, right? And I teach and pass this message to each and every single person, not just the women and females. It's important for each and every single person to be financially independent. You do not have to rely on anyone. And this is what drives me to pass on the same message to other, right? And again, who's Sia Joshi? Again, tough question. I'm someone who's really private, and yeah. And again, I was philosophical as well, as I was, we were discussing so many things, like where we started and where we were going. But yes, that's what drives me to pass on the message and to teach people something new, right? That drives me a lot as a leader, as a human being. What sessions I take, what workshops I take, whatever learnings I pass on, and I'm again learning as well simultaneously. But whatever I have gained, I wish to pass on those messages and learnings to others so that they also can thrive and do better in life. And even a single impact of a junior or as I'm seeing you grow, it gives me immense pleasure and joy. It warms my heart, right? That even a small conversation with someone, maybe they have helped them, it has helped them, then it fulfills me. And I'm a person who prefers satisfaction and happiness over other things, and this is what truly brings me happiness, that seeing other people being inspired and learning something new from the maybe mistakes I have made or maybe the achievements I have accomplished. Even if they learn the smallest thing and it helps them achieve something in their life, it gives me pleasure. And I think that's it. I don't know how to explain Sia Joshi any other way.
No, that's firstly, thank you so much for being so happy for us and for giving us your best wishes, because that's the reason why we are growing. Because the wishes of all of you, with the wishes of every friend and family, and with everyone's good wishes only, we are here. We have this
Yes.
conversation. So yes, thank you so much. And yes, with that, before leaving, any message for our awesome listeners, for them?
Oh, wow, this is a tough question. What message should I give? Uh, Never be afraid of anything. Try to learn something new. New exposures are important, and push yourself out of your comfort zone. Try to learn something new. Try to pursue some new qualification. As all the USCMA aspiring students are watching this, it's really important. Don't be scared. The worst, as Apurva was saying earlier, is you'll fail and you'll learn something from it and you'll have a better initiative after that. So yes, that's my message.
That's something again. You guys have to follow in that path again, I have to say. And yes, it's again with every podcaster. Like, one thing I have observed, that all the messages that I have received, everything, every single message, every single guest has something unique to offer. We think, okay, there would be like, I have this thing, okay, it would go in a certain way again. As I said, we plan, I have that in mind. Okay, your conversation, it would be like this. With a filmmaker, it would be like this. With a someone from the finance field, it would be like this. In the MUN field, it would be from like this. It's like, I have that certain mindset, but again, it goes in a completely different way. There's roads untraveled. It's like roads untraveled, roads untaken, and it's like you can't even think, okay, ऐसा भी होगा ये conversation. Like, I never thought that we can bring such a great philosophical angle, and it was all connected.
Yeah.
I really like that fact. I really enjoyed that. So yes, but yes, this is it for this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and for tuning into the podcast. It was really a pleasure. Thank you so much, Siati, for
Thank
coming
you
up
for
over
having
here.
me.
And yes, with that, we are at the end of this episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. And yes, I'll meet you guys in the next episode. Till that, see you. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.